Our message affirmation today is I am spiritually supported all along the way. And indeed, we absolutely are. How many of us have ever had a problem in life? And if you don't raise your hand, I'm kind of not going to believe you, because I find it a real big challenge to believe that nobody's ever had a problem in their life, Reverend Barbara, because we've had talks. Yes, 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 yes. The challenge is that so often the comfort and even the answer was right within us, because Spirit is with us and within us, regardless of our circumstance or situation. If we find ourselves, God forbid, locked in a cell, in the drunk tank, because we've made a real critical error of judgment, Spirit doesn't say, so long, see ya, I want nothing to do with you. Spirit is with us and within us during that situation. When you win that Oscar nomination for the best picture of the year, Spirit is with you and within you. In both of those extremes, and exactly in the middle, in all these middle things, when you open your checkbook and the rent is due, and that number that shows the balance is nowhere near what you have to pay, Spirit is still with you and within you, and it's there within you to work to find the solution to your challenge. When you are sitting in front of the desk of the doctor's office and he's opening your file and saying, I have some really bad news for you, Spirit has not abandoned you. Spirit is with you to guide and direct you and take you to the place you need to be throughout this whole process. Spirit is with you. When you're having your Thanksgiving dinner and the coleslaw is being strewn across the table at the disliked in-law, and the turkey somebody picks up before mother finally says, oh no, don't you dare. And food is flying everywhere because nobody can seem to get along. And all you can think as perhaps the mother or the patriarch or the matriarch of this family is, I just wanted a nice meal where we could love each other. Spirit is still with you. Spirit has not abandoned you. Spirit is with you and within you in every single circumstance and situation, no matter how challenging it is, no matter how difficult it is. To tell you the very honest truth, I never, ever imagined myself being in a situation where I would do this, but my loan documents were dispersed. So my escrow's closed, so it's all over. So it was a challenging thing, the worry of the lack of security. And so God, Spirit, was with me and guided me and directed me through this process. And believe me, it was a challenge. At times, I likened it to balancing a bowling ball on the tip of a stick pin. It was that precarious. It was just that precarious. And of course, through it all, I was supported spiritually all along the way. Even though my stomach was in knots and I was having physical manifestations of all these challenges going on, Spirit was with me, and Spirit is with you. And this is the important thing for us to understand as we walk through our days and our nights and the good times in our life, because we certainly do have the good times in our life. We've just heard this wonderful blessing from this beautiful young couple about the oncoming of their child, and that is such wonderful, wonderful news. And we know that I recently heard about somebody that I knew kind of semi-remotely. They were actually roommates with a very good close friend of mine. And through the grapevine, I found out that the person had passed away. And I know that time of passing away was probably a time of great distance from people who loved him and who would have cared for him and who would have gladly, held his hand and comforted him during that time. And so, of course, that's a challenge. So we do have these two extremes, but it's important to realize that in these two extremes, Spirit is constantly, constantly with us. There is never a time we are not a perfect, beautiful child of God. We are perfect, spiritual, and divine, even though the things we do sometimes don't seem so perfect, spiritual, and divine. We are always perfect, spiritual, and divine by God's grand design. And so, if nothing else, I hope that everybody walks out and takes this week with them and knows that no matter what challenges meet them, no matter what surprises greet them, they are all perfect, spiritual, and divine, and spiritually supported all along the way. So when you find yourself in that circumstance or situation where you think that you can't go on, where you think the end of the world is coming, it's time to stop and pause. And as I mentioned so often, I hope that everybody gets the opportunity at least once a week, if not daily, to be a little meditative and to focus on the wonderful, wonderful things around us that God has given us, and to take that time to say, I am spiritually supported in all I do. I am spiritually supported all along the way, because we all are. We all are. And I know it may sound so Pollyanna-ish, and we in New Thought get blamed for that a lot. They say, oh, those New Thought people there, we hear that from the Catholics and some of the Baptists, and oh, those New Thought people, they're also Pollyanna-ish. They think that all they have to do is think wonderful, great thoughts, and, the whole world's going to become lollipops and lemon drops. And, of course, we know that we live the same lives as everybody else, but we feel the comfort of knowing that indeed we are spiritually supported all along the way. We don't have these different saints that we look to and say, I'm so sorry, I've sinned, I don't know, how can I get better in your eyes? Because we know in God's eyes, we are perfect, spiritual, and divine. We are always going to be perfect, spiritual, and divine. And if we make a mistake along the way, God is not going to kick us to the curb and say, well, you had your chance, you're all done. And so your goal for the week is to be guided by the Spirit within. So when you think about this week and the things that are going to happen to you or even not happen to you, even those of us who live the most mundane lives, and as I've mentioned so often, I do have a secular job, and it's a medical billing agency, and I sit and I put in numbers all day in a computer, and it's not a lot of excitement. The most exciting thing is, wait, this diagnosis doesn't match this CPT code. What are we going to do? And we all spin around. That's the excitement of our day a lot of times. But I know that in every circumstance, in every situation, I am spiritually supported all along the way. And you need to know that you are spiritually supported all along the way. And that is such a wonderful, important thing to take with you. And the good news is, Spirit is always with us and within us in every circumstance and every situation. Wherever there is doubt, lack, limit, or any challenge, turn to that Spirit within, because it's there. It's there. It's there for you. It follows you everywhere. No matter what you can do, there's no way you can shake it. You can buy the fastest car in the world. You can become Steve McQueen, the Bullet, up and down the streets of San Francisco. You can't lose this Spirit. It is with you. It is your spirit guide, and it is taking you through all the circumstances and situations in your lives. And it is always there for you. You are never, ever alone. You are never, ever alone. So when you feel the walls closing in and you feel the challenges of this earthly existence that we're going through, getting to you, know that Spirit is with you and within you in every circumstance, in every situation. And just knowing you're not alone, and that indeed the most powerful force in the world is with you, you can breathe a sigh of relief, and you can know that none of this stuff is going to affect you in the long run. None of this stuff is going to affect you, because you're always going to be a perfect child of God. You're always going to be the creation of God. God was created perfect. We were created in God's image. Therefore, we are perfect. We know that. We take that with us every day in every way. And we know that I am spiritually supported all along the way. All right, I'd like to invite you to join me in prayer. Eternal and loving God, we thank you so much for your constant spiritual presence in our lives. We thank you for allowing us to know that When the checkbook looks skinny, when the diagnosis from the doctor looks poor, when the challenges with the family seem overwhelming, you are with us and within us in every circumstance and every situation. We thank you, Lord, for guiding us and for letting us know that at the end of every day, everything is going to be all right because you are with us, you are within us, and you have our best interest in your mind. We thank you, eternal and loving God. We thank you in the name of faith. We thank you in the name of hope. And we thank you in the name of love. Amen.